the future hold? Woj, what's the latest on the future for Frank Vogel in Los Angeles?
Listen, the Lakers want to give Frank Vogel every chance they can to stay in this job. They don't have the depth on their coaching staff that they might have had in previous years to make a coaching change. You get past David Fizdale, and if you'd make David Fizdale the interim coach, now you have the rest of his staff that is largely a more inexperienced staff. It doesn't have former head coaches on it. Doesn't have, there's no Jason Kidd there. Listen, if Jason Kidd was still on his staff, he might be the head coach by now, but he isn't. And so, listen, the organization, I think, is trying to allow Frank Vogel to get through this, get Anthony Davis back. There's something Kobe Bryant said to Rob Pelinka. He's said it to me a few times through the years. You know, sometimes the hardest thing to do is nothing, and I think that's kind of where the Lakers are right now. But listen, there are issues that go, Legs has talked about this, Perk, Chiney. There are issues that go well beyond coaching, the roster construction, injuries. And listen, no one can survive the kind of loss they had to Denver the other night. You lose by 37, your team's non-competitive. That's the stuff that gets coaches fired. But the way they came back, played against Utah, I think gave him a little more cushion. And ultimately, it is very difficult to run an organization with the idea that your coach is game to game, that you're judging him just on a game. It's not the way you should do it. And I think Frank Vogel is going to get more runway here to coach this team and at least get to the end of the season.
Oh, and Perk, we were texting last night, and you were a big supporter of sticking with Frank Vogel a little bit longer. Why?
Yeah, for the simple fact that if anybody knows Frank Vogel, they knows that he's not that alpha type coach that doesn't listen to his assistants, right? So his assistants has a lot of freedom. You look at a guy like Phil Handy, for example. Phil Handy is a guy that's been with Braun and won championships. He's well respected by players. Fizdale the same way. So it's not just Frank Vogel, it's the whole coaching staff. And again, if I'm Frank Vogel, guess what? I'm sitting up here saying, man, I might need to walk away from this before I catch a heart attack dealing with this nonsense. Because look, even when you look at even with Carmelo Anthony coming back last night, it took away from Malik Monk. Okay? Carmelo Anthony, I could count 5 times where he messed up on the defensive side of things, and then you put Coach Frank Vogel in a pickle because you know that all of a sudden Melo is a fan favorite. You know Braun rocking with Melo, but how can you sub him out when you just, it's hard and it's unfair to Frank.
Well, and we just saw a graphic of what Frank Vogel has achieved as a head coach with the Lakers. It's still wild to me that we're only 15 months removed from him winning a championship. He was given a 1-year extension. Other coaches, after winning a championship, you see them extended. Mike Budenholzer, for instance, for several years. And so this is something that we're going to be continuing to keep an eye on. We have much more coming up on the Lakers.